morning, sir. Good morning. Please take it, sir. Thank you. Introduce yourself.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to introduce myself, sir. My name is Girish. I am from a village called NAVO-PRAMATHI, which is 20 kilometers away from the Bijapur district headquarters. I studied in my vernacular medium from 1st to 10th standard. After finishing my plus 2 education, I joined engineering. After graduating from electronics and communication engineering in 2012, I got placed in a software company called Mindtree. I worked there for 2.5 years. After that, I resigned in 2015 July, sir. From 2016 onwards, I have started preparing for the civil services examination. Last time I reached till the interview stage, and this time hopeful of getting into the services. As far as my strengths are concerned, I am very good at making friends, sir. And I know the priorities in my life, and I am very hardworking and a determined person. And as far as my improvement areas are concerned, I am little emotional in dealing with the people. That may be my improvement area, and I easily get carried away with the situation without understanding them properly. That means I impromptu take decisions without analyzing the all-round factors. That area I have to improve upon a lot. And I try to emulate the great personalities without realizing the fact that being ourselves itself is a great virtue. That is one another weakness area of mine, sir. And as far as my vision is concerned, I want to serve in an administrative capacity within next 4 or 5 years in the ground level. Thank you so much, sir.
Why did you leave your software job?
As I told, sir, I had a priority in my life. So I had education loan when I was studying. So I had education loan.
Okay.
So when I was studying in graduation itself, I had decided I should work for 2.5 years so that financial security can also be taken care of, as well as I should expose towards the professional life, sir. If I expose myself towards professional life, it would help me for the civil services. Civil services was my long-term aim when I was studying my graduation. So once my cousins started earning, they told me to pursue my dream. That's why I stopped working in the IT industry and started preparing for the civil service.
Do you think that a government job will be as satisfying as a private job?
There are lots of similarities as well as differences in government as well in private and the government jobs. But as far as the personal satisfaction level is concerned, government job is fulfilling because in government jobs, particularly in the Indian administrative service, the work diversity, the challenging opportunities cannot be seen in the private sector.
So you think that there is no scope of work in the private sector?
There is a lot of scope in the private sector, but the kind of diverse opportunities available in the civil services, it cannot be matched in the private sector.
What is your idea on lateral entry of civil service into UPSC? There was a recent talk on lateral entry of, what is your take on it?
Lateral entry is a welcoming step, madam, because the civil services also requires generalists as well as the experts in the domain. So, for example, the people like Raghuram Rajan, they will be having multi-domain exposure. They will be having rich experience in the private sector. With their help, with their experience, the government sector will definitely get benefited. So, lateral entry is welcome, provided it will not undermine the administrative services force as existing right now.
Your options is political science.
Political science and information.
You know, there is a word, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yes, sir.
What do you mean by?
Lord Acton said this, power corruption, absolute power corruption, absolutely. That means power initially will give you an opportunity to do something, and gradually, if there is no checks and balances, if a person gets an absolute power, that power itself will destroy the person, because the person will get enormous amount of power to do good as well as the harm. It depends on individual, and in the most of the times power is defined in a negative connotation, and hence it corrupts the person. That's why absolute power is not a good for a person.
You said that your weakness is that you often carried away by
Yes,
what?
emotions.
Give an example.
When I am dealing with the strangers or the friends, I become little attached to them. I believe in them. I believe in what they are telling. I take their statements as truth without analyzing the factors. That is my weakness. That means I easily believe the friends.
You are a political science student.
Yes.
So you asked power corrupts and absolute power. Can you think of examples of it?
Yes, ma'am. If I think an historical example, we can take the example of Hitler. Hitler was elected on the democratic principles only. He was elected in a democratic way only. But with enormous power, he ultimately destroyed the whole German society. So he got corrupted. The power crept into his mind and he destroyed the millions of lives.
Are you aware of Gutenberg trials?
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Gutenberg trials.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm not aware of it.
Who is the biggest proponent of theory of justice? One of the well-acclaimed theories of justice.
There are lots of scholars of theory of justice, but in modern times, John Rawls is considered as one of the biggest.
You know John Rawls.
Yes.
Now, can you link Indian constitution, the birth of Indian constitution, and Rawls' theory of justice?
Rawls' theory of justice was given by him in 1971, sir, and our Indian constitution born in 1950. So, as far as the linkages,
No, I'm not talking about the idea of what is Rawls' theory of justice.
Yes.
Can you apply that to the situation in which Indian constitution was born?
Yes, sir. It is possible to apply the John Rawls principles, like he gives equality before law, equal opportunities, as well as the difference principle. That difference principle is nothing but affirmative action as envisaged in our Indian constitution, sir. Article 14 and Article 15-16 provides affirmative action for the economically and socially backward section of the society.
See, Rawls is not talking. Okay, there is a connect to equality with justice in Rawls' theory. But what is the major thing of Rawls' theory?
He gives a concept called wheel of ignorance, sir.
Correct.
Yes.
And veil of ignorance.
Veil of ignorance. Through that veil of ignorance, he says that we can decide the best model of society by imagining ourselves in the imaginary state of nature, so that we can lose all our identities, and hence we can create an equal society based on certain principle.
So you are very well aware. You are clear with it. Apply that to the birth of Indian constitution. Sorry.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not absolutely.
Have you heard of theory of eclipse?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not clear about the issue, but I think that it is related to the judiciary theory of eclipse, like interpretation of the laws.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure, sir. I'm sorry about it.
Girish, do you think our society is ready for direct democracy? Given the present nature of instability, political instability, do you think there is a try to move towards direct democracy? You know direct democracy, right?
Yes, sir. Direct democracy is the desirable thing, sir. It is the ultimate form of democracy which is accepted by all the political scholars as the best form of democracy. But in the present context, if we consider the present situation, the direct democracy may very well lead to mobocracy. So in our present Indian society, I think the direct democracy should be achieved at least in the next one generation. But right now, the time is not right, sir. The representative democracy is working good.
As an engineer, you have any take on what could you do to expedite the process?
Which
The same process that you're talking about.
the direct democracy.
Yeah.
Uh,
Representative democracy to deliberative democracy or direct democracy. This whole journey, can you expedite it using, as an engineer, what's your take on it?
As an engineer, I do think, sir, there is a possibility of expediting the direct democracy by use of technologies. We can give the voting right, voting powers to those people who have migrated from their workplace. So we can create some online platforms.
You don't have voting rights today? If people migrate within India?
No, sir.
They don't have.
They don't have. They are eligible to vote in their own constituency. For example, I have born and brought up in Bijapur district, but I am staying in Bangalore right now. I cannot yet vote in Bangalore.
Why?
Because my voting identity, my voting address lies in our Bijapur district.
They just have a shifted bus.
I'm sorry, sir. I am not available.
There is a concept called ordinary resident.
Okay.
If you are ordinary resident,
Yes.
your place of birth or your permanent resident address doesn't matter.
Okay. Thank you so much. I was not available.
What is missed? Where it is there. What is the
Okay.
problem with the Mindtree?
My
The company which you are working earlier now?
Mindtree problem, sir. I'm sorry, sir. Honestly, I have not kept track of the developments in Mindtree. But as far as the revenue growth and other things are concerned, Mindtree is one of the fastest growing mid-sized company in the sector, IT sector. I think attrition rate may be the problem in Mindtree. I'm not so sure about it.
Recently there was new socket being offered for sale.
Okay. I'm sorry, I have not read it. I am not sure.
Girish, it seems your father is an agriculturist.
Yes, sir.
Which crops?
We grow jawar, sir. We grow wheat. We grow the pomegranate crop in a small territory. And we also grow the maize. These are drought resistant crops usually. They do not require much water except pomegranate.
What is the present market rate of jowar and maize per quintal?
I am sorry, sir. I have not been tracking the market price.
You don't visit your village?
I will visit the village, but
You eat jowar roti?
yes, sir.
What are the schemes of the government of Karnataka for the welfare and the upliftment of the rural people in agriculture?
I am sorry, sir. I have not read about the schemes of government.
In a district level, how many departments are there?
In which administration?
How many departments? Administration, like DC,
Yes.
the PCO. How many departments he takes care?
I'm really sorry, sir. I regret for not knowing this. But there are around 600 committees which will be working under district collector. So he will be in charge of around 600 committees, as far as I know. I may be wrong. I'm
How
sorry.
many departments are at the central level? Central government?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not knowing about that.
Yours is the Bijapur district. Tell me something about your district.
Yes, sir. Bijapur is one of the historical district of Karnataka, sir. It is the 9th biggest district of Karnataka in terms of population. Bijapur is also having one of the municipal corporations, which is created recently in 2008 along with Tumkur. So, Bijapur
What is
has-
special about Bijapur?
Bijapur is a historical city, sir.
How?
There are lots of Islamic as well as Hindu monuments like Gol Gumbaz, Ibrahim Roja, Shivagiri. There is a Siddheshwara Swamiji temple, and then there is a Jamma Masjid, which is second biggest Jamma Masjid after Delhi in India, sir. So it has lots of Islamic.
What do you know about Adil Shahis?
Adil Shahis were one of the splinter groups of the Bahmani kingdom, sir. So they had started to build. They had started to build the Gol Gumbaz in the year 1626 and completed it in 1656.
Not okay, no problem.
No,
Do you know anything about Vijayanagara Samraj, Vijayanagara Empire and Adil Shahis?
yes, sir. They were contemporaries. Vijayanagar there were wars between Vijayanagar Empire and the Adil Shahis, Bahmani Sultans, thank you sir, and in Rakkas Tangadi Talikoti battle, Vijayanagar kingdom had been defeated by the Islamic rulers. So from that period onwards, Islamic rule had started in our Bijapur district.
As a student of political science, how would you rate Vijayanagar Empire and Bahmani Sultans? Both. Administrative, who were better administrators?
As far as the historical documents are concerned, Vijayanagar kingdom had considered one of the golden age of our Karnataka's history, sir. The administration as well as overall law and order were very better in the Vijayanagar Empire. So I would like to rate Vijayanagar Empire better than the Bahmani kingdom.
That's a very general statement, anybody would say. Justify the statement.
Because there was a secular administration in Vijayanagar kingdom, sir. They did not try to convert anyone of different faith. They coexisted. They gave opportunities for all kinds of people who were having different faiths. So secularism was at the core of the administration, and they promoted different languages as well compared to the Bahmani Sultan.
What is secularism?
Secularism in our Indian context depends on the case to case. As far as the broad definition of secularism is concerned, the separation of state and the religions. They should be given kept in a different compartments.
What do you know about secularization?
I think you should avoid using this word secularism.
I'm sorry, sir.
So avoid using the word secularism, because at that time there was no concept called secularism.
Okay.
There was never, in fact, no.
In modern day,
There was no constitution or anything. It's saying anything about secularism. How a state should be treating a religion from its perspective.
Thank you, sir.
What do you know about sublimation?
Recently, Supreme Court had allowed the entry of women in the Sabrimala temple. There was a demand for women to get entry into the Sabrimala temple, sir. And as per the constitutional article 14, equality before law or equal opportunity for everyone is the principle based on which Supreme Court decided that women cannot be discriminated against based on some irrational religious beliefs.
What is your take on the government? The government is taking two different steps. One is on triple talaq and one is on Sabrimala issue.
Yes.
So how do you justify it being you're a PABAT student, right? I mean, how do you,
Political science.
so how do you see this?
Government always decides in the welfare of the people. So government decides based on the circumstances, based on the situations, and the decisions taken by the government will be in the larger interest of the people.
What is your take? I'm not asking the government's take. What is your take on this triple talaq? Because there are two different things.
Yes.
In one side they say women empowerment, and in the other side they don't let the people inside. There's also been debate. What is your perspective?
In triple talaq case, there was a blatant violation of human rights. There was a physical harm or the emotional harm to the woman, because immediately on spot divorce without any recourse to legal entitlements or without any ailment. Giving divorce to woman on spot is kind of arbitrary. But in case of Sabrimala temple, there only one temple had limited entry for women. All other Ayyappa temple were open for all kind of people, including women and men.
See, it was never an issue between two religions. It was a specific issue of a temple not allowing women, and the judgment is given that that is a violation of fundamental right.
Yes.
Why do you take this in this thing?
Because there are lots of temples which cannot allow men into some woman temple. Only women are allowed there. Government has taken a stand that this triple talaq blatantly violated the rights of Muslim women. So with the law, they thought that they are giving recourse to Muslim women to follow the law, legal rights.
Okay, one final question.
Please.
You studied in government institutions already.
Yes.
You are from very, one of the underdeveloped regions in the country.
Yes.
So, what would you do if you given the in charge of improving the educational sector, government education institutions in Bijapur?
Yes. If I am given this opportunity, first thing I would like to do is to incorporate the technological things in learning, sir. Learning should be made attractive to students so that the dropout rate also will be reduced. The accountability will also be increased. For example, if we implement the biometric attendance system for the school, all schools, the attendance of the teachers will also increase, and the quality training for the teachers, train the teachers concept, that has to be implemented in the ground level so that the teachers can better equipped to teach the students, because primary education is the concern in our education sector overall. If we improve the primary sector, it will have a effect afterwards in their students' career. So my prime focus will be to improve the primary education sector with the help of technology.
No, how will you first get the children to the school? What you are saying, you are assuming already children already come to the school. What is meaning to us? How will you encourage the wards to come to school? How will you allow them people to?
Yes, sir.
That you have society of poor.
This is a valid point, sir. There should be some affirmative action in terms of the educationally and economically backward students, at least in the primary sector. Already government has made that primary education is free of cost. Government is giving, but we should also give some scholarship for the bright students from first standard itself, and the education should be made attractive to the students with the use of technology, with the use of computer learning, those kind of things which attracts children.
But now we have RT, right to education, elementary education.
Yes.
How success it is? What do you have? See, is it not sufficient? Why?
I'm very sorry, sir. I don't know about the data of RT.
Do you read the Hindu paper?
Yes.
When it started?
It started in 1878 by G. Subramanian.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Give him 5 minutes feedback, sir. Ilbani, go. 5 minutes feedback.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
That's how we are doing, sir. 25 minutes or 25, 30
25 minutes first to interview.
And then 5
minutes feedback.
Feedback.
Okay. I know we should bring them what he says.
Yes, yes.
Have to go back, they should improve.
I'll leave the
Start.
See, first of all, I did not study in a government school, but the rest of the profile matches me. Okay. I also worked for a couple of years in software. I also had education loan. After my education loan was over, I quit. And this thing and all, like, tech fest and things like that and all is good. You have a rich this thing, but we couldn't get into your hobbies or your this thing. And because you are the one to blame. Okay. Why I am saying so?
Because it's a kind of landmine.
You are throwing landmines after landmines at us. You are throwing so many things at us.
And your introduction
We are not
was
able to miss it.
Should not open up everything.
your introduction was as though you are you say you telling everything about yourself, giving the
You had your first interview already. This is your second interview.
Yes.
What was your first interview experience?
I got 151 marks in the last year's interview.
What happened?
Because my clarity of answer was not good.
Okay.
In actual, last time also I have my interview first day itself. This time also I have interview on first day itself.
So how does that matter? Why first day, second day, last day?
On first day I was little bit nervous on the last year. But with the last
Nam
year,
one day interview, one day seat, one day ido. This thing doesn't matter. Yava hoಗ್ತೀವಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ in
last time sir, I had got my first mains. I had written my first mains and got the interview call in first mains itself. So I thought that interview is just a kind of formality for allocation of services. So that made me to
Take it lightly.
Yeah, take it lightly. I did not prepare well, and I did not have the clarity on the issues.
Okay, now what I see is you are little. I mean, my personal this thing is you have clarity on the issues, but your answers seem to be way too dressed up. Okay. There is no natural ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು
You make as if you are telling that time. Okay, even though we are prepared, but then you should tell as if that time only you are thinking and comes out.
And it need not be this cosmetic as well. It need not, see, you are doing both the extremes. You are dressing it up so artificially. At the same time, you are throwing these landmines which you should avoid. Sir asked about Vijay. Why would you say about Hindu monumentaries and Muslim monumentaries? Hindu Muslim का question क्यों आया?
And I asked about same happened in that triple talaq and that issue. The thing should be on women empowerment should have been the key there. You started comparing men, women entering into temples and you started.
See, your personal preferences are coming out. Okay. So, like,
Middle path is
otherwise the question itself won't come. Why I asked you, see, even when I asked you a very, agnostic question, like compare the administrative this thing of Vijayanagar and this thing, you are again coming to Hindu Muslim. So everything you are coming to that. Okay, that might be your personal this thing, but you shouldn't bring it out. It could be a very serious this thing. Okay, it can turn your interview into either way.
The best point when you are in doubt or in sensitive issues, restrict to the point. You will further by elaborating or by going beyond the point. You are throwing out your own
Giving
things.
so many
So you expose yourself, even though you dress up like I am not like that biased, but it might come out in your answers.
Prepare ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ like for example see it's very obvious from your profile there are so many things ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಗವರ್ನಮೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ you studied in government school
yes.
So you will have to establish some personal connect to that answer right you have so many strengths in your profile you have to play to that strengths unnecessarily you are bringing other issues into it.
But I thought that getting into some personal experience may seem like
No, simple things.
Wherever it is, like for example, farmers sir ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಖಂಡಿತ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು.
ಈಗ ಮೆಕ್ಕೆಜೋಳ ಮತ್ತು ಜೋಳದ ರೇಟ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ ಜಿಲ್ಲಾ ಮಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಇಲಾಖೆಗಳಿದೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಓದ್ತೀರಾ ನೀವು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಓದ್ತೀರಾ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಯೂನಿಯನ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಅಲೋಕೇಶನ್ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಾ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು ಆಯ್ತು ನೀವು ತಲೆ ಕೆಡಿಸ್ಕೊಬೇಡ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದಟ್ ಇನ್ ಯು ಬಟ್ ಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಟು ದ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ನಿನ್ನ ಬಯೋಡಾಟಾ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನಫ್
You have very good potential of cracking it this time. Just don't overthink about it.
ಅಂಡ್ ಬಿ ಯೋರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀನೇನು ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಪದೇ ಪದೇ ಸಿ ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ಆನ್ ಆಸ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಯು ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ನೀನು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಏನೋ ನನ್ನ ಸೆಕ್ಯುಲರಿಸಮ್ ಅದೇನೋ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ ಕನ್ವರ್ಷನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಐ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸೆಕ್ಯುಲರಿಸಮ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳಿದೆ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಟೆಂಪಲ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂಸ್ ಟ್ರಿಪಲ್ ತಲಾಕ್ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಆ ಥರದ್ದು ಒಂದು ಇಶ್ಯೂನಲ್ಲಿ ನೀನೇನು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿ ಕೊಡು ಡೆಲ್ಮಾ ಅಥವಾ ನೀನು ಡ್ರೆಸ್ಅಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೀಯಾ ಏನೋ ಫೇಸ್ ಪುಟ್ ಅಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೀಯ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸೋದು ಬೇಡ ಯು ಆರ್ ಗುಡ್ ನೀನು ಬರೋಬ್ಬರ ಇದೆಯಾ ಆಯ್ತೀಯಾ ಓಕೆ
You are based on like how we asked about Rawls' theory of justice. You are very good at it.
You are very good actually. I am telling you, your content, clarity, everything is very good.
But
Just that you are
take
making a
on-
little more effort. Don't do that. Be cool. Okay, but prepare on these things. ಯಾವುದು ಮೆಕ್ಕೆಜೋಳ ಇದು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಏನು ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ಸ್
That's a very basic question that sir
ಅದೇ
asked.
ಕಾನೂನು ರೇವಲ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದಾಯ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಏನು
Because you tell as if you are that time of thinking. Okay? You don't straight away say, even if you know the answer, don't just do it fast. Just take 1 or 2 seconds, think as if you are doing that time. Okay?
sure.
Like you are prepared answer for whom the justice.
Yes, sir. No, no,
Hitler,
you are-
Hitler was a prepared answer. you wrote and you told about Hitler.
ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ತೋರಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ as if you already prepared.
ಆಯ್ತಿಯಾ ಬಿ ಯೋರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರೋ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆಲ್ ದ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್
Thank you.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು